Let's just say the worst comes to the worst, and the SNP do have quite a big say in what happens in the government in May. How seriously do you think that the SNP are going to be taken when most of their lead up to the referendum was balanced in the price of oil to bring money into Scotland, and now since that referendum it's nearly half?
I can tell I've got a wee bit of work to do to turn you into an SNP voter. That's the vibe I'm getting. Look, Scotland's got a strong economy. We are very lucky to have natural resources, not just oil and gas, but renewable energy resources. But you wouldn't find any other oil-producing country in the world right now, because oil prices are lower at the moment, saying, oh, we better rethink our independence, because these countries have stewarded their resources properly. We've had our oil and gas resources stewarded by UK governments that have squandered them. So Norway's sitting on a £500 billion oil fund, and we've got a share of the UK's £1.5 trillion worth of debt.
But that fund wasn't yours to begin with. It was Britain's fund. And if you started off now...
There is no fund.
But if you started off now, the warnings were there that the prices were going to drop down. So if you started off now, you'd have no basis to start off, and you'd be starting on that lower price.
But most other countries see oil and gas. I mean, many independent countries don't have any oil and gas resource. We're lucky. It's a bonus in our economy. And my point is that should be how we deal with our economy, to treat it that way, instead of having no oil fund, because before we argue over whose it is, we have to deal with the fact that successive UK governments haven't stewarded our resource in that way. Now, when you're faced with a situation where UK governments have not managed that resource properly, it seems to me a bit of a cheek for them to turn around and say, oh, you don't have an oil fund to fall back on and cushion you against lower oil prices. If they've mismanaged it in the past, why on earth should we allow them to go on mismanage it in the future? Surely we should decide to do it better in the future.
Okay. That was an enjoyable...